So we're going to continue with our Meetups management system. And so far, the highlighted ones are completed. Well, partially completed because, these are organizer goals. So organizer users, which means the events organizers, the Meetup organizers, would use these functionalities. But we don't have organizers login functionality yet, right? So there's only one organizer, which is this anonymous one. So once we start implementing authentication and authorization, then we have to revisit these functionality, these features, and so that we can, create a meetup just for the particular organizer, not for everyone. But before we continue with organizer goals, we want to move on to attendee goals. And the first one is the browse and discover meetups. And we want to be able to filter by, I don't know, now that I'm developing this, I don't know whether this requirement makes sense or not. I think that we should sort by date and search by keywords. These are basically duplicates. We're supposed to have like sort by date and search by keywords. I think we're going to implement that because if you come to meetup.com and you can see the basic layout, and we have a search bar over here, and there's a location thing, right? This is my location. And then you can search, and it's going to display this beautiful list of events near the location. And then you have different sorting functionalities, sorting and filtering functionalities over here. So we're going to implement a similar look and feel and similar functionalities, although our requirements will be slightly less than meetup.com. But it's, like I said, it's still going to be full featured. Anyways, we're going to continue our implementation with the browse and discover meetups. So let's just call it discover meetup, and let's work on that. Let's go into Visual Studio over here, and if we run this, we have this top bar over here, right? This top navigation bar over here. I think these are it comes from the default templates, and if we go to layout, this is right here. Right, the navigation bar is basically this div, and then we have our body over here. I think what we can do is to use Bootstrap. Right, we can learn to use Bootstrap. For that purpose, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually just delete this whole thing. Okay, and I'm gonna just have my main over here, and for the main, like inside the main, I'm just gonna have this body placeholder. Right, this is the default body placeholder for Blazor. I'm gonna have it right here. And then we can make the main section work well with this container class. This is from Bootstrap, right? And this container class, there's a container and container fluid, right? The container fluid will make it 100%, and the container will basically have a margin on the left and margin on the right. And let's give it a bigger margin on the left hand side and right hand side. So I'm just going to use this class. And once I have this, what it's going to look like is, let's take a look. You see we have this margin on the left and the margin on the right. The only thing is that we're missing a top bar. So let's go ahead and try to create that top bar. So in order to do that, actually, let's go back to our browser first. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to Bootstrap. Okay, search Bootstrap, go into Bootstrap, and let's go to examples. And let's find some example that we like and just work with that. So for example, maybe this one, this one may work for us. So we're going to just view page source, for example, right? And maybe view page source is slow. So I'm going to just inspect, right? And I'm going to make this one slightly bigger on the right hand side. And then I'm going to inspect this part, which is going to be our net bar. So which is this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say add it. And then I'm going to select everything and copy this into clipboard. So I'm going to come back over here and just paste this whole thing above the main section over here. Right, So we don't have links, and according to the Meetup website, there's not a lot of links. We don't need to implement all of these features, right? So I can remove these links like this. I'm gonna just remove this whole thing. Perhaps I'm gonna just remove this whole div. But what I'm gonna keep is this form, right? Because this form is basically the search box. Currently, according to the example, it's on the right hand side. So I'm gonna move that to the left hand side. So by just copying this, and then I'm gonna delete this div, and then I'm gonna paste it back. So we will have a static bar right now, and let's take a look how it looks like right now. So this is refreshed, and looks like we have some issues with part of the content went into this bar. So this bar is kind of blocking our stuff. So let's fix that problem. I think the problem is this fixed top. So let's remove this. And then maybe we can add a margin on the bottom like this. You see that we have this container fluid. That's why the nav bar on the top is expanding, right? So let's see whether we have any other problems in here. All right, so we have this and we have the space fixed, right? By removing the fixed top. But our search bar is still on the right hand side. So I think what happens is that I removed the div, like see, this I can remove, and then we can leave this div over here, and let's remove the fixed top. And now let's give it a try again. Let's see whether this fixed the problem or not. But now you can see the bar moved to the left. What I don't like is this green button. But you know, you can, if you like it, you can keep it. Otherwise, just like myself, I will want to have a different type of search button, which is controlled by this class. So I'm gonna say light. Is it a light? I forgot what the class that I think it's a light. And if we do this again, we'll have a better looking, yeah, you know, I like this white outline. All right, so did I remove the, yeah, I think I removed the bottom margin. Okay, I need to put it back. So this is our layout, okay? We'll add the margin back. So this is our layout. The thing is, we will need to extract this into a component. I want to have this as a component because otherwise, you see, this is a submit button and it's going to submit to a Razor, like a page component, right, in Blazor. But because the interactivity we're using is server-side interactivity and it's global, right? So it's not going to work very well when we submit data to a Razor component with server interactivity. I'm thinking, what can we do about it? Maybe we can go ahead and create a feature first, and we can call it discover events, right? And under this, maybe we can create a component. This is a search events component. But before I do that, I already can think of a problem because you can see that this change, right? This search bar right here is under main layout. And main layout is where? Main layout is under shared folder, right? It's not any of these features. But if I create a search events component under the discover event slice, that means that I'm going to share this slice. I'm going to share the component in the slice to the shared folder, and then this is going to be making it available for everyone. So if we need to do that, why don't we create a component inside the shared folder? I think that would be a good idea, right? So instead of calling it a search bar for events, we can just create a generic search bar. So let's go ahead and try to do that. So create a new Razor component, and then we can call it just generic search bar component, right? And then within this, we can have from the main layout, we can cut this out. And for now, let's paste it here, right? And Now we can go back to layout and we can put our search bar component right here. This will replicate the code that we just tested. This is basically going to be the same thing. I just need to make sure that it isn't, I just need to make sure it's still working. Nothing is broken, right? Nothing is broken right here. And now let's go to the search bar component and think about what I can do with it, right? So we have this button here and it's a submit button. When I click on the search button, it needs to post some data to a Blazor component, and that's not possible. So what I think I can do is, instead of using a submit button, I can just use a regular button, right? I can use a regular button, and then when I click on the search event, I'm going to redirect the user to another Blazor component with a query string, right? With a query parameter. That will help solving the whole problem. And then this can be generic because you can use it to search events. You can use it to search anything. So let's go ahead with this idea. So because of that, I don't even think we need a form, right? Because this is not a submit button. It's not going to, it doesn't have to be a form. And yeah, I think we can just have a div, and with the D flags, make it a flexible container. And then, yeah, with the same role and everything else would be similar. Now, when the user click on this button, we're gonna work on this on click event handler, and we're gonna use a search method here, and it's generated for me. And here I'm gonna simply, like I said, redirect the user to a different location. So because of that, I'm gonna inject the navigation manager. Why it becomes different. Okay, so navigation manager, coming back over here, I'm gonna navigate to a specific location. So in this case, it's going to be, let's say this is a slash events URL, and then we can add a search. Let's actually use a string interpolation here, right? So search equals, and then we provide a value, and the value need to be bound to the input box. So therefore, we're going to create a let's say search query, and this is going to be bound to this input box over here. So I'm going to say bind value and paste this search query over here. Now I can have the search query over here as well. So this would be good, but this hard coding in the events URL isn't good. We don't want to hard code it here because we are creating a generic search bar. So therefore, I'm going to have a parameter over here to have the user pass the URL into it. So what do I call it? Maybe I can call it search page URL, or just search URL, maybe better. So let's say I want to have a search URL, and then I'm going to have this search URL inside a curly brace as string interpolation. We can hard the search parameter over here, telling that the users of the component that this component is going to add a question parameter over here, and that parameter is the search parameter. Okay, and another thing is looking at this. See, we have the slide, but you might want to use different things, right? You may not like this class, so we can say, button class, and then we can have a button class. This is going to be another parameter, right? Allowing the user to pass in prompt, and then again a button class, and it's going to be used right here. I think we're good. We're going to specify the button class and search URL inside the place where we use it, which is the main layout. Okay, so what do we do here? I'm going to say button class, and this is well, I deleted, so but it's supposed to be btn. I think it's outline light, and over here search URL is going to be slash events for now. Eventually probably gonna change this, but for now let's use this URL. Now when we redirect to the slash event, this is going to be our inside of our slice, right? Discover event slice. So let's go ahead and create this page component. So discover event slice, and let's create a reader component, and this is going to be a page component, but we're going to call it discover event component. I think that's the name. And here, maybe we can just say events, right? And then down over here, of course, we're going to display a list of events. But let's take a look at Meetup. So we're going to have this type of layout, right? First of all, let's talk about functionality, right? So we are going to have a list of events, and the filtering is going to be passed in from the query string. So we need to override. Let's override on parameter set. I don't know why you see this IntelliSense doesn't show me the on parameter set anymore. I mean, it doesn't show me anything. So I'm gonna have a comments here. I'm gonna say override on parameter set. Hopefully the Visual Studio update is gonna fix this problem. But comment and using AI is fixing my problem anyways. So let's do this and then come over here, and we will need to extract the URL. And for that, we're gonna come over here on the top. First of all, this is a page component. Don't forget about this. So we're gonna have this, and then I'm gonna inject navigation manager. So navigation manager and navigation manager. And I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna get the URI from the navigation manager. So I'm gonna say navigation manager, navigation manager.url, and I'm gonna get my query strings, and it's generating this for me. So it says query, is this correct? I think this is correct. Okay, so I'm gonna say this is query parameters, and I'm going to get the query parameters. I mean the search value from the query parameters, and this is exactly it. So what if it's empty, right? If it's empty, I'm gonna just have a empty string for it. And now I'm going to need to search, right? I'm going to need to call the search functionality. And that is going to be, in the same slice. So I'm going to create a class, and I'm going to call it the same thing, same convention. So discover event service. So in order to save myself some energy, I'm going to just go to any place. I'm going to just copy this, and I'm going to come back to discover service, and I'm going to paste this over here, and I'm going to just say, discover event service, and change the constructor to this. Okay, so that saves myself basically these lines of code, and then over here, this is going to be called differently. So basically, this is get events async, and what I'm going to need is the filter to be passed into it. And this is actually there's a default value over here, right? If nothing's passed in, I'm gonna have empty string, and I'm gonna return a list of event view model, right? Just like this. And I'm gonna delete the rest of the code over here. Okay, so we have our context. What we need to do is basically we're getting events by filter. So let's write some comments, and then hopefully AI is going to generate code for us. So get event by filter, right? And we're going to specify some rules here. So if the filter exists, then we filter by event title or descriptions, right? Or location. Now continue writing. So if it's empty, filter is empty, then get all of the events. But this is not right, because if it's empty, whether the filter, whether the filter is empty or not, the events should be ordered. No, should be in the future. Should be in the future. So we don't want to see past events. This is for user to discover events, right? This is not for the organizer to see the events. The organizer seeing the events, we already created that. But for end users to discover events, we need to allow the user only to see the future events. So we have this, and then we also need to say the result, should be ordered by begin date and time. Descendingly, I would say, descendingly. Now I'm gonna hit enter and wait for it to generate the code. Okay, so I have it generated, and let's accept it and then take a look. I think this is okay, but the problem I see is that you can see that I need it not only by date but also by time. Oh, it's doing that. It's doing the date and time, but filter. So it should be in the future, which means that should be in the future by comparing date and time, begin date and begin time, right? So let's try to see to make it regenerate this. I'm gonna come over here and hit enter again. Okay, let's see this time I generate correctly or not. So filtering looks correct, right? Filtering looks correct. Date is greater than the date part, and if it's equal, right? If it equals, then we're checking the begin time, and then we order descendingly with date and time, and then we convert that to a list. And if that is empty, then we're getting a empty list. Now this is good, right? And we can return it. So when I say mapper, I'm going to map it to event view model. But can you see a potential problem here? So this, if we do have a filter, which means that this condition is not going to be met. So it's going to check whether any of these conditions can met or not, right? So if we specify a particular filter, let's say I'm going to type in random letters. I'm going to say DDD, and certainly none of the events will have that sequence of letters. So I'm going to return empty. I'm going to have an empty list. According to your own requirement, it could be acceptable or not acceptable. So let's take a look at what the Meetup system does. So if I say DDD and click on search, and now you can see that it gives me DDD events, but we don't have any of the events that actually contains the DDD sequence. You know that we're discovering events, and this is a huge topic, right? But we are going to apply very basic rules over here. I'm going to just say that if the filter results in no events, I'm going to remove the filter, right? By removing filter, we're basically retrieving all of the events that is in the future. So because of that, I will have to do this filtering all over again. I'm going to query the database. If the events comes back is empty, I'm going to query the database again. But this time I'm going to remove the filter, right? Set it to empty string. So I have to do this all over again. So therefore I'm going to extract it out to a method. I'm going to say async task, and then it's going to return me a event, not event view model. So I'm going to say search event, and then I'm going to have it pass in a filter, and also a application DB context. So context. So now I'm going to have this. I'm going to cut this over here, and do I need to do anything else? I don't think so. So I'm going to just directly return this thing, and then go back over here and say var events equals await search event provided with filter and context, and now I'm going to test it. So if the filter, so the other way, so if the filter is not null or empty, and at the same time if events count is 0, then I'm gonna use the thing again. I'm gonna say search await. Yeah, I'm gonna accept this. So you see, I'm passing in now to filter. So let's make it even more obvious. I'm gonna set the filter to now, and then I'm gonna pass in the filter to the search events. right? I'm gonna get it again. So this time I'm getting everything, and then I'm just order it. So everything means everything in the future. Later we're gonna implement paging, but right now we're getting everything. We don't have a lot in the database yet. So now I have the events, and then I'm gonna change that, map that to event view model. Okay. So we have this, and we can come over to program.cs and register it. It's pretty weird. It doesn't, I remember it was able to detect what is inside my clipboard. Anyways, we have this injected into the dependency injection container, coming back to the component. And come on the top, we are going to inject discover events service. So this is the filter, right? And we are going to get the event. So I'm going to declare this. So private list. Actually, it's generating for me, right? So I'm not going to have this. I'm just going to have it like that. And then let's say events equals await discover. Yeah, this is exactly what I need. And then I'm going to use this events list up here. So in order to mimic this, so let's take a look at this. In order to mimic this, we are going to use a container first of all. So class and container. So this is again Bootstrap. And then it's generating something for me. I'm going to accept it first. And I don't think this is reasonable for me. I'm going to delete this, but I'm going to keep this row here. In order to have something like Meetup, we're going to use the card class. I'm going to say div, and now I'm going to say class card. And inside here, I'm going to have, we have a card body, but we're not going to use search bar component inside here. I'm going to have a title for this. So let's use H5 for now. Let's see whether it works or not. Okay, and I'm going to say this is the card title. And let's for now, let's hard code a, let's just say event 1. And also above the card body, here is where we can have the cover image of the event. So what do we do here? Well, I'm going to for now remove this cover image, right? And because I'm just going to try to see what I have is good or not, right? So I'm going to have, let's say eight of these, and I just want to test the responsiveness. Okay, so this is our home page, but if I click on search, we're going to here, but it shows event 1. Well, this is definitely not what I imagined. I think because we're missing the column class. So let's decrease it back to just 1, and then we need to have column class over here. So if we just have one column class, and then again, let's duplicate it. Let's see how this works. Okay, so we have many of this, and I don't think this is acceptable. Anyways, let's see. So if this, see, this is working like this, and we need to change it. So again, I'm gonna roll back, and I think over here, we need to use the, I think they call it breakpoint or something in Bootstrap. So I'm gonna say if the browser is very big, I'm gonna have 4 columns, right? I'm writing 3, but I'm saying 4 because in total there's 12. If I say 3, it means that it's divided by 3, so there are 4. And if the screen is medium size, then I'm gonna have 3 columns, right? And if it's small, then I'm gonna have 2, right? 2 columns. And if it's extra small, then I'm going to have 12. Something like this should work. Let's give it a test. Again, I'm going to duplicate this a few times just to create a scenario. Therefore, I'm going to continue to duplicate this one more time. And let's run it again. All right, now you can see that we have, when it's really, really big, we have 4 columns. And this is exactly what I planned. And then becomes smaller, there's 3 columns. And then this is the small one. And then this is the extra small. So what I don't like is the gap, right? We're missing a gap here. So let's fix that problem. And I think the gap can be achieved just right here on the row. Actually, let's test it right here. We don't have to, run it again and again. Go over here. I think there is a class that is a G dash number. Let's try 3. Okay, so now we achieved a gap. Let's again make some changes. You see, we're not losing the gap, right? As we're making the change, border size change, we're not losing the gap between any of the cards. So that's exactly what we want. And let's now just delete everything else, just leave 1. Now we can loop through. So first of all, I need to make sure that the event is not now, right? It's not now. And at the same time, events.count is greater than 0. Then I'm gonna move this down, okay? And now I'm gonna loop through. So for each, let's say var and ev in underscore events. Don't use event because that's a keyword. So I'm gonna move this up inside and then do a Control KF. Now remember, okay, fixed. Now remember when we were dealing with this in the view created events component, we are having something that I want to copy and paste over here, which is related to the image. Right, it's right here. See this? I want to have this. Oh, actually, I want to have all of this. Let's just copy. Let's copy this. And let's paste it over here. Of course, this is Eevee. And then let's move this picture thing inside the card. I don't think this is going to work. The style of fixed width is not going to work here because you see that as the border changes, the size of the card changes. So we cannot do that. Let's give it a test and see what it looks like right now. Okay. So it looks not bad, right? Let's see. Yeah, this is not bad. Yeah, even this is good. This is the maximum. So of course it's all event 1 and we need to fix this. So ev.title. So you see on parameter set. So when we receive parameter, we get the filter and then we get the events. And now if I say AAA DDD and then click on search, we still have all of the events. But if I say, well, why this doesn't give me the title here? I don't know what happened. Let's close this and restart. Whenever you have a problem with computer, you just shut it down and restart. So let's do that. Okay, let's click on the search button. We come over here and now we have the titles. We fixed it, right? So now, if I do AAA DDD or whatever and click on this, it's gonna give me everything. But if I say, let's say I'm gonna have sickle, oh, it doesn't work. So what is happening? Let's go to the home page and click on sickle. Okay, it works here, right? And that's because I think it's because, let's go to the search bar component over here. We need to apply the force. I think there is a second parameter, you see, force load, and we can apply 2 here. Okay, let's run again. Now click on search. Now you see it works. You've refreshed, right? And if I say sickle, it should work. But what I don't like is that the sickle filter here is cleared because we force reload. It's like a whole new page now. It is not like a whole new page. It is a whole new page. So it cleared us from here. How do we preserve it? See here in Meetup, if I click on this, it doesn't lose it, right? If I say, meditation, let's search some real thing, and then I already hit enter. So you can see that the results is refreshed, but I'm still having this here. What I would do is, I think the easiest way is because you can see that even this is the search razor component, we are still going to receive the parameter. So we are going to retrieve the parameter right here too. So inside the event, not added event, we went to the wrong one. Where is the one? Okay, inside here, we have these, but we're going to use this again. So because of that, we might want to put it in the helper class. I remember we had a helper class, or a shared helper over here. So I want to say string get query param value, parameter name, and I'm going to paste it over here, and navigation manager, right? This is going to be dependency injected. Get over here and take this one, do a control dot, choose the second one. Now copy this, paste it over here. Okay, so we have the parameter value returned. Now let's take this over here and then just return this, remove the equal sign. And our shared helper, is it dependency injected? I believe it is. So yeah, we have our shared helper dependency injected. So that's good. Now let's go back to the discover page and let's inject our shared helper. And then I'm going to remove all of this, and I'm just shared helper get query string query parameter value, and I'm passing the query parameter name. So same thing here in the search bar component. Where is it? Right here. I'm going to dependency inject the shared helper again. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to override initialize. Let's see whether it does for me. Okay, it does. Okay, so I'm going to remove whatever that is here, and then I'm going to use shared helper over here. So I'm going to get the query parameter by its name, so search, and then this search query will be overrode like this. So I need to have a semicolon. So what is wrong with this? Oh, I forgot a double quote. Okay, I think this fixed our problem. Let's run it again. All right, so let's go back, click on search. Now, if we search SQL and click on search button again, you can see that we're keeping the filter over here. That's really good, right? And well, this doesn't work yet, so let's make it work. Let's go to discover events, and over here on the top, for this entire, I think for this entire card, we can have a anchor element, right? And then we're gonna move this down to over here, select this whole thing, do a Control KF, right? This formatted is pretty well. And then over here, this is the URL of the event. And we have a similar coding here. So let's go over here and just copy it, right? It's just this. Go back, paste it here. This is EV, and that's it. Let's run it again. Okay. And we have this underscore here. I don't like it, but for now, let's just deal with it. The thing is that the created events, which is for the organizer, is the homepage. And I think at the time, it's time to fix it. So let's go back and let's fix the URL. So what I'll do is I'm gonna actually change this discover events component to make it the homepage. Right? This is supposed to be the homepage. And then let's go to here, and this event. So by making this change, something is going to break. Yeah, something is going to break. So let's come to, I'm going to actually search something. I'm going to search navigation manager dot navigate, and well, that's probably wrong spelling. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go down. Actually, I'm going to go to the search bar. I'm gonna search navigate to. Inside the entire solution, you can see here, create event component, navigate to this. This has to be changed to events. And over here as well, delete, right? This has to be going to events. And edit as well, go to events, anything else. So this is fine, this search bar. Now, well, the problem with discover event, if we're linking to this particular URL, this is what? This is edit, and this is wrong. So you know what? I'm going to leave this to the next video. Okay, leave this to the next video. For now, I'm gonna have a hashtag like this. And but what I want to see is see, this is the home page, right? Home page, and then if we search, I'm gonna hit enter. Well, hitting enter doesn't work. Which we will definitely need to make it work. Definitely need to make it work. So I click on search, which takes me to this created events page, which is wrong. So in here, we do need to change it. So search URL, which means that when we go over to discover component, this thing, where is it? Oh no, this is in the main layout. Okay, here. Is supposed to be. So let's make sure it works. So empty it, click on search. We're still staying on search, right? Still staying on homepage. That's good. And then if I say SQL, click on search. We have this. Delete it. Click on search. We have this. Everything looks correct. So I think we need to just fix two things before we finish this recording. First of all, I will have SQL and then hit enter. Right, this should work instead of having to click on the search button. Secondly, this meetup. Secondly, this logo thing, I need to change it. So I have already prepared a logo. I'm gonna come to image, and then I'm gonna drag that into the folder here. So I have a meetup logo over here. What I'll do is I'm gonna go to the main layout, and I'm going to add this thing right here. And I'm going to change this to slash. All right, so here inside the anchor tag, I'm going to add a image. So image, and I'm going to have this meetup logo, closing tag, run it again. All right, so we have our meetup. It's similar to this. And that's why I said that we're going to create a clone of this. So we have this definitely different, right? Similar, but definitely different. Secondly, we're going to fix this. We want to hit enter and then trigger the search. So let's go to our search bar. So what I'll do is go over. So what I would do is I'm going to, first of all, minimize this. And then on the input over here, I'm going to make it look slightly better here so that we can see the next one. So here, I'm going to say on, let's use on key down. And here, I'm going to say handle key press, copy this and go down over here. So maybe I'll just put it behind here. And I'm going to say private void handle key press. Did it generate the code for me? Handle key press, yes. So if it's enter, I'm going to just call search. So this should work. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to say SQL and then hit enter. It works. But why it's not keeping the SQL here? So if I click on search, it does. If I hit enter, it doesn't. See, if I click on search, this is still preserved. If I hit enter, oh, it does. Let's try to reproduce it. Again, I'm going to say SQL, or maybe let's try meetup. Hit enter. Oh, I think I know why. It's just because this because the binding thing. So bind value event is input, right? As I'm inputting or keying in each letter, this value is bound. This should fix the problem. Now let's clear it and search. Now I'm going to say SQL and then hit enter. Now you can see SQL is right here, right? Still keeping it, and I say meetup, hit enter, and meetup is preserved right here. Okay, before we finish this video, let's just do a final testing, making sure that everything works. So I think we have tested the search bar, right? So let's give it a final test, enter this, it's fine. and this link doesn't work yet, but we don't worry about that. Go back, we're fine. We can go over here. We don't have a link to go to the /events yet, but that's fine. We can go manually. And now I need to test some of them because the links changed. So I need to, for example, let's go through the whole scenario. Let's create a event. Let's say we have a meditation. Let's say a meditation on the now, and let's copy this over and let's change this so that it happens in the future. Let's say this is on the 28th, and this one, of course, on the 28th on the same day, and it's going to be a 1-hour meditation. So let's say this is 4 o'clock and change this one to, well, actually 2-hour meditation. That's fine. And capacity, let's say we have 15 seats, and this is going to be an in-person venue is 1 Toronto Street, Toronto. Cover image, I don't know what type of image it's good enough. Let's see whether this multi-threading thing that I created is fine or not. It's stretched, but that's fine. Let's click. Begin time should be earlier than the end time. So, oh, this is PM, AM. Okay, change to PM, click on the create. Now we have this meditation on the now event, and let's go over here. So we are able to go to edit, right? And this moment, if I cancel, I'm coming back to this one. This is wrong, right? So this needs to be fixed. So let's go to edit event, right? Go to edit event, and where is the cancel thingamabob? So we have a delete event component. Where is the cancel? I forgot that we have a cancel. Okay, it's inside this component. This is the share component, supposed to go back. And that going back is supposed to be, so this is the submit button, this is the cancel button, and we're going back to /events. Right, so this should be okay. Now, when the form is submitted, let's take a look. Handle image upload. Okay, save. So it's triggering this, and yeah, I believe this part is fine. Let's run again. Okay, you're joining it. Let's run again. Okay, the application is running on the other screen. So I'm going to go to meditation on the now. Oh, it doesn't go there. That's fine. We need to go to /events, and then let's go to meditation on the now. Right? See this, I'm thinking that this search bar should work differently, because if I am on this created events screen here, if I search it here, it should filter this, right? But that functionality, let's keep that in mind. And if I can remember that, I will definitely implement that. Otherwise, you can, if I forget about it, I guess you guys can implement that yourself, right? Because you can, based on, let's go to main layout here. So based on the current URL, you can pass in a different search URL here, right? Because this is hard-coded to search for the events discovery. But if currently we're serving the /events page, right, for managing events, then this URL should be /events. And then you can handle it differently, right? You can get the search result from the /events page, which is basically this page, right? From this page, and then you can display the list differently, which means there's some changes in the view created events service page too. But for now, don't worry about it. At least we have seen that, canceling goes back to created events. Let's go over here again. Let's try to update and see what happens. Let's say that we change this to 10 people. Okay, and then let's click on update. We're still going back to created events page. That's pretty good. Is there any other thing? Let's say we're deleting this, okay? We're deleting this event. So are you sure you want to delete this? If I click on cancel, it comes back, which is good. If I say yes, it still goes back to create events, and at the end, the event is deleted. That's pretty good too. And if I say this, let's say we're deleting meetup number 4, right? And then I click on yes, and you can see that meetup number 4 is indeed deleted. So all of the functionalities still work, right? If I say meditation, let's say med, and then hit enter, it doesn't show me anything. Doesn't show me anything. Oh, because I deleted that event. Yeah, I deleted the meditation event. This is everything I want to show you guys in this video. In the next one, we will definitely have some cleanups. For example, these URLs needs to be cleared. And then when I click on each one of this event, it should take me to the viewing of the event details page, right? So those things we need to continue working on in this video. We already implemented enough. We implemented a search bar. Looks pretty nice. We probably want to make it slightly smaller so that the bar is not so wide. I mean, the height is not so big, but I'm okay with that. And then what we had is these events, but what I noticed, you see, the gap is not big enough anymore. Is it because I removed it? Let's go back and try to fix that. So discover, yeah, for some reason we lost it, or probably for some reason we lost it. Let's get it back. All right, we have the gaps, and yeah, let's make it smaller. Let's observe the gaps. Pretty good. I think that's it for the video. I'll see you in the next one.